Do you ever feel like trauma from your past still affects you today, even though it happened a long time ago? Trauma can come in many forms and affect anyone, regardless of age, gender, or background. While some people may seek professional help and work through their trauma, others may try to ignore it and hope that it will go away on its own. But the truth is, unhealed trauma can manifest in unexpected ways, and ignoring the signs can lead to serious consequences. Let's talk about 10 unhealed trauma signs that you should not ignore. 1. You chronically avoid people. Are you hesitant to avoid social events or engage in activities that involve other people? Do you find yourself chronically avoiding people, even those closest to you? Trauma can cause a person to withdraw from social situations as a way of protecting themselves from potential hurt. However, this avoidant behavior can ultimately lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation, further exacerbating anxiety and depression. So, if you find yourself avoiding people with this motive, it might be time to confront some hard truths. Practice self-care and engage in activities that promote social interaction in a way that feels safe for you. This can mean joining a support group, volunteering for a cause that you care about, or engaging in activities with people who share similar interests. Taking small steps like these towards social interaction can help you slowly build confidence and ease back into social situations. 2. You find it hard to trust others. Are you constantly paranoid around people? Maybe you were betrayed or hurt in the past by trusted people and now struggle to form deep connections with others. Distrusting others is a common trauma response, as trauma can give you a heightened sense of distrust and a fear of being hurt again. This can make building healthy relationships and maintaining intimacy with others hard. So, if you find yourself in this position, set healthy boundaries to protect yourself. Then, consciously try to be open and honest with others and take small chances in building relationships. With time, it'll gradually become easy to develop healthier trust patterns and build deeper connections with others. 3. You struggle with emotional regulation. Emotions are tricky. One moment you have a handle on it, and the next, they're all over the place. Are you easily angered or triggered by certain people or circumstances? Do you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by emotions or struggling to manage your reactions to situations? This is because trauma heightens your sensitivity to stress and causes an irregularity in your emotions, making it hard to control and navigate them. This can, in turn, make it difficult to get along with others and maintain relationships. 4. You sometimes feel inferior to others. Everyone faces imposter syndrome once in a while. It's pretty common for people to worry that they are not good enough or worry that they are not as good as their peers. These are pretty normal feelings, but they can be more worrying when they start to manifest in more severe ways. Do you often feel unworthy and undeserving of love and happiness? Do you also struggle with feelings of shame or guilt? Trauma can cause you to believe negative things about yourself and undermine your self-worth, and this can make you hate yourself or shrink yourself. This one is particularly dangerous because it's your brain telling you these things and dimming your capacity. It's important to identify this for what it is, a trauma sign, and get help as soon as you can. Don't ignore this, but instead, find a way to defeat this symptom of trauma. You can try speaking to a professional to resolve your trauma, engaging in positive self-talk, self-compassion exercises, and positive affirmation. 5. You struggle with intimacy. Do you find it challenging to connect intimately with others? Is it difficult for you to be vulnerable and open up to others? This is yet another symptom of trauma because trauma can promote the fear of intimacy and can make you reluctant to bond with others. The reasons for struggling with intimacy can vary from person to person, but some common factors include fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, difficulty expressing emotions, and past traumatic experiences. These factors can lead to a pattern of emotional distancing or avoidance in relationships. Trauma can ruin relationships that already exist or decimate the prospects of building any new ones. It's crucial that you don't ignore this. To address this, it might be helpful to seek out therapy or counseling to work through past experiences and develop strategies for building intimacy and connection with others. Additionally, practicing vulnerability and emotional openness in safe, supportive environments can help you to gradually build comfort and trust with intimacy over time. 6. Self-harm. First of all, there's a general misconception that self-harm is only deliberately physically hurting yourself. In truth, self-harm can manifest in several ways and is a very major sign of unhealed trauma. From physically hurting oneself to deliberately staying in harmful situations as a coping mechanism, there's no singular presentation of this trauma sign. For people with unhealed trauma, self-harm can be a coping mechanism and a way to escape from the primary pain caused by the trauma. Not only is it dangerous for people with trauma, it can also spell trouble for those around them. If you're struggling with trauma or you know someone who is, seek a therapist immediately. Start the healing process and develop healthy coping strategies to replace the self-harming behavior and fuel your recovery from trauma. 7. You abuse substances. Like self-harm, substance abuse is wrongly interpreted to mean one thing when it can mean many things. Substance abuse typically covers the habit of excessively consuming alcohol or drugs, but it can also include excessive eating too. Substance abuse can be many things, but it is usually a trauma response. People with trauma often view these substances as a way to numb emotional pain and cope with the effects of trauma. However, substance abuse can have severe negative consequences on physical and mental health. 8. You experience chronic and physical pain. Many people walk around and live with chronic pain that just won't go away. In some cases, health professionals can't seem to find a physiological cause for the pain, yet it's still there. If this sounds like you, then your body might be telling you that it is dealing with some stored and unresolved trauma. If you experience chronic physical symptoms, you can start troubleshooting by requesting a medical evaluation for a diagnosis of any medical conditions. If no clear medical cause is found, seek therapy to address any underlying trauma, and that just might reduce the physical symptoms. Mind-body practices such as yoga and meditation can also be helpful in managing stress and relieving trauma-related therapy. 9. You have a short attention span. Do you struggle to focus on tasks for an extended period of time? Are you easily distracted, or do you just zone out when you're surrounded by people and tasks? If so, this may be a sign of unhealed trauma that you should not ignore. Sure, this could just be a symptom of anything else, tiredness or boredom, but it's also a characteristic of trauma survivors, especially if it's severe. When we experience trauma, the brain can become wired to be hypervigilant and easily distracted. In some cases, your brain may even enter a tuned-out state because it's just so overwhelmed with stimulation. This can make it hard to concentrate on the present moment and can lead to a lot of problems in your daily life. 10. You have recurring nightmares and flashbacks. Recurring nightmares and flashbacks, typically revolving around the same place, person, or theme, can be a telltale sign of trauma. Are you having trouble sleeping well because your rest is being plagued by bad dreams? Don't brush it off. When you experience trauma, your brain can get stuck in a cycle of negative thoughts and emotions related to the traumatic event. This can mean having dreams about reliving the traumatic event or being stuck at the location of the trauma. Sometimes it can also mean being with any people that your brain relates to your trauma. This can make it difficult to move on from the experience and cause you to feel like you are stuck in the past. It is a brutal reality and an unpleasant way to live, which is why it's best to get help quickly. Working with a therapist or other mental health professionals who can help will help you process the trauma and develop effective coping strategies for managing negative thoughts and emotions. It's usually these thoughts and emotions that carry over into the dream state, resulting in bad dreams or flashbacks. Seeking help may include techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, or other forms of talk therapy, and all of these will help you find peace within yourself and fuel recovery from trauma. Whatever your situation, you are 100% capable of overcoming any struggles or trauma in your life. What about things hidden anxiety makes you do? Watch that video right here.